Okay, hello. Welcome to Module 5 of 8. You're on the downhill slide here. So this week we are looking at secondary sources. So these are the sources that when it says provides background, gives context, things like that. Things that happened later. So remember, primary sources are the raw materials. They are happening in that moment. A picture taken in that moment. A picture of that participant. Secondary sources are evaluating. They have historical information, they have background information, they provide context. They're filling in the story for those raw material primary sources. Sometimes here in our fields, we find pottery. And if we didn't have secondary sources, it would just be a random piece of pottery, and we just find shards. We have not been fortunate enough to find like a whole piece, but we find shards. And so we know from secondary sources that that's most likely from Anasazi Indians hundreds of years ago. And that's fascinating. There's a type of bean that's grown here, and they're called Anasazi beans. They're beautiful. They're maroon and white in color. They're beautiful. They're delicious. They're very similar to pinto beans. But without secondary sources to fill in, if you just found a bean somewhere that looks a little different, it would just be a unique bean. But with secondary sources, we can better understand what that is, where it originated. And so we need secondary sources. We can't just have a mess of primary sources without the secondary sources. They're the glue. If the primary sources are the raw materials, the secondary sources are the glue that help us form a story. So that's what you're looking at this week, secondary sources. And so you're learning how to locate them, how to create a collection of them, how to summarize them. So this week you're going to read the Module 5 guide, review the required resources. You have a quiz, not a discussion this week, a quiz, and then complete and submit the Module 5 assignment. And that's your secondary source assignment, always. Please consult the guidelines and rubric. Please use the template. It just helps you set yourself up for a successful submission. All right, have a great week and reach out to me with questions.